Welcome to On My Way to Wealth, the podcast where busy Gen Xers can learn financial tips as they navigate life on their way to wealth. And now, please join your host, Luis Rosa.
This episode is brought to you by Latin Excellence. Visit latinexcellence.com. That's Latinx, CELLENCE.com or latinxmovement.com to learn more and shop our merchandise. You are excellence. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On My Way to Wealth. My name is Luis, and I'm your host. Happy Women's History Month. Thank you, ladies, for all that you do. Today, I want to talk to you about investing, specifically addressing women and investing. This month, I'm going to have a whole series about Women's History Month. I'm going to have some great guests coming through, so be on the lookout for that in the next couple of weeks. So just some great women from different backgrounds, and just have a very unique story, business owners and so on and so forth. And I think you'll find it inspiring. So I wanted to talk about women and investing specifically because there are things that make women fall behind in general when it comes to investing. So I wanted to talk about some of those reasons and also what women can do to set themselves up for a better financial future. So I was reading an article the other day from Go Banking Rates. I'm going to put it in the show notes if you want to read it. And, it wasn't anything new that I've seen because it's kind of in line with what I've seen before. The article, it was a survey that they did. They interviewed over 1,000 women ranging from ages 18 to 65. And they found that over 53% of women are not actively investing. And I had read another article by NerdWallet where it was similar, saying 48% of women were investing. So again, less than half, compared to 66% of the male counterparts. And, it's a disparity there. And so imagine like over half of the women in the United States are not investing. So let's talk about some of the reasons why that is. One of the major reasons that they found was women felt like there was a lack of money, an income problem. And, this was very interesting to me because the article references a Bank of New York Mellon study that they did, and they found out that overall globally, women felt that they needed $4,092 on average of extra disposable income. This is after having paid all of the household bills, that they needed at least $4,092 a month of disposable income before they even considered investing any of it. That's almost $50,000 a year in disposable income. And this was globally. In the United States, it was actually even more. The United States women in this study felt like they needed at least $6,000 a month of disposable income, which is $72,000 a year before they even considered investing. I mean, that's a lot, right? And we're going to get into this a little later, but you really do not need that much money to start investing, right? I mean, not even close. But that was one of the problems. So that was like 33% of the women that answered the survey felt like they just didn't have enough money, because the expectation of that disposable income is pretty wide. Number two, it was just a general lack of knowledge about investing, just in general. I think there might be a misconception that all investing is risky. And obviously, there are varying degrees of risk depending on what you're investing. Some things are riskier than the other, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gambling. There's a difference. When you're taking a prudent risk, you're doing something that is, it has some basis behind it, right? It's not just like, oh, let me just throw this into something and hope it works, right? Especially if you're working with a professional that's managing your money or a financial planner that at least is help guiding you through that process, right? And number three, the other problem was it was a combination of the two. It was either a lack of money or lack of knowledge, So between those three, it was like the major reasons why women were not investing. And I've seen this before, and this is a problem really for everyone because ultimately it spreads throughout the entire country later on. If women were investing more money, then that would mean more assets to manage, more jobs and so on. So it'll actually be more beneficial to everyone involved, including men. But specifically for women in their lives, I wanted to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then the good news, the really good news. Number one, the good things are, ladies, time is on your side. You might have heard the old saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. That is true. But you know what the second best time to plant a tree is? That's today, right? So if you didn't do it 20 years ago, let's do it today. Time is on your side. Women tend to actually live longer, which means you may have more time to get this done. At the same time, though, it's a double-edged sword because that means you need more money to have because you're going to outlive men, right? Statistically, in general. So something to consider there, right? So time is on your side. Start now, even if it is small. You don't need a chunk of money. I mean, you can really open up an account without that much money and just start adding it incrementally over time, whether it's via your paycheck or monthly, et cetera, right? Bad news is women get paid less than men for the same job. And this is a problem that we've had historically in this country, right? The discrepancy is huge and they're varying degrees depending on whether you're a woman of color and so on and so forth. But in general, women get paid less than men on average, right, for the same job. So that's a problem in and of itself. Now, that means that you have less to work with than your male counterpart. So that's already a problem. And to add insult to injury, then I go into the ugly, which is you spend more time out of the workforce on top of that. And that's usually because you're taking care of kids. Say traditionally women that have kids are out of the workforce longer. You also tend to be the caregiver. So when parents are sick and things like that. So in general, women tend to spend more time out of the workforce and also get paid less when they are in the workforce. So that's a pretty bad combination. And then you add the good news of them living longer, right? You living longer, then it creates a problem for you because you're getting paid less, you're spending less time out of the workforce, and you're living longer. So you need to compensate somewhere for that, because this ripples down into other things. Think about like Social Security benefits down the line. If you're working less and you're getting paid less, you're also going to have a smaller Social Security, right? Now, there's good news, ladies. So, but I wanted to tell you some of the issues that you should be thinking about as a way to really help you strategize as to, well, how am I going to compensate for this difference, right? So here's the good news. It's easier than ever to invest, especially lately. You've seen, obviously, some of the stuff you've seen probably has borderline into gambling or all the meme stocks, et cetera. But what I mean by easier is just like, it's something that you can do from the comfort of your own home. You can very easily, one of the places that I'll tell you to look first is usually if you are employed as a W-2 employee, look at your employer's retirement plan if they offer one, the 401k. A lot of employers offer a match as an incentive for you to save. So it varies, but if you save money and you get a match, it's free money, right? So that's the first place I will tell you to start looking as far as saving money for your future, because not only will you be making additions to that plan, but then the employer might be making a matching contribution. So you're putting even more dollars to work in your benefit. That's one. Number two, individual retirement accounts. Even if you don't get offered one through your job, you can open up your own. And there are different limitations to those. Roth IRAs as well. It's another option. You can also open up a brokerage account. And that brokerage account can be opened with any of those online brokerage companies of your choosing. And literally in a few minutes, you could just open up a brokerage account. There are apps out there that help you invest as well. So you could even do it from a smartphone, right? So it's become a lot easier for you to be able to invest. And you can start small. That's the other thing too. So you don't need thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, you really do not, right? So take advantage of the fact that it's easy to do so and convenient. And also another thing to think about, because of modern technology, the world has kind of gotten smaller to some degree, right? And as you've seen with the pandemic, a lot of employers are really okay with you working from home, right? So this has also made it easier to start a second, like a side hustle. Think of ways, if there's a specific passion that you have or talent, you might be able to continue to work on your regular W-2 job, and then maybe nights or weekends or something, you work on a passion of yours, and it's something that you can do perhaps from your home, online, etc., and start generating some income, and that's important because then if you're making extra income, you could just reroute those funds towards an investment account for your future. All right. So there's definitely a lot of ways that you can go about it because you start thinking about this. You already have some disadvantages, unfortunately, and obviously a lot of work needs to be done on that end. But in the meantime, right, you want to start advocating for yourself, thinking ahead, planning ahead, and making sure that you start saving money for your own retirement. Now, there's a lot of things too, like I do a lot of work with couples, and a lot of times I find that, let's say in a traditional male-female couple, for example, I see a lot of the time like men are usually taking more of a role in finances. So I want to let you know that you should be more involved too. Like, don't leave it up to your partner, right? Be involved in the process. You want to make sure that you both understand. One of the episodes I recently did was about having money dates. And these are one of the things that you can talk about in your money dates is, okay, what are the goals? How much money are we investing? What are we invested in so that you understand it? And even things that may sound simple, like having access to the accounts. There's a lot of password sharing apps out there that you can use so that you're involved. You can be able to log in. If you need to download a statement, download a tax form, just kind of log in, check out how the portfolio is doing, whatever it is. But don't be in the dark about your finances, right? Don't leave it up to someone else just because that's their forte. Get more familiarized. If you're working with a financial planner, for example, be active in the meetings and definitely take a role to understand exactly what you're doing, what you're invested in, what the goals are, and making sure that you truly understand, right? Don't be in the dark. Just don't leave that up to anyone else. You got to take control here. So remember, time is on your side, right? Start planting that tree now. Things are easier than ever to start, and you don't need a lot of money, right? So take advantage of those things. Definitely consider working with an advisor because aside from investing, there are many other things that you can be helped with, whether it's budgeting, finding ways to save more money, tax advantages, things of that sort that can help you overall in your overall plan. So this month, I have a really great lineup of women that I'm super excited to share with you. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be, I think it's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to share this with you. I have so many women from different backgrounds, business owners. I mean, you name it. And it's just amazing. They're going to share their stories. They're going to share their struggles, and they're going to share the things that didn't work for them and the things that worked for them. So they're going to be serving as an example of how we can be done, how they juggle it all between marriage, kids, running businesses, careers, everything, right? So where there's a will, there's a way. I hope that you found this useful. If you're going to get started on your journey, feel free to send me an email, luis@onmywaytowealth.com. Let me know, hey, listen, I opened up that brokerage account. I took the first step. All right. Be sure to do that. As always, thank you for tuning in. And be sure to tune in for the next episode and the rest of the episodes for March for Women's History Month because they're going to be really, really great. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to On My Way to Wealth. If you have any questions, please send me an email at luis@onmywaytowealth.com. The information provided here is for information and education purposes only. The opinions expressed herein are solely those of myself, unless otherwise specifically cited. Material presented is believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations are made by my firm or myself about other parties' information or accuracy or completeness. All information or ideas provided should be discussed in detail with a financial advisor, accountant, or legal counsel prior to implementation. Thank you.